Hello, I'm Donald McCauley from BJGP. Today I'm talking to Professor Azeem Majeed, our leading primary care epidemiologist who has led us through the COVID crisis from the very start. Azeem, what's the situation in London at present?
Thank you, Donald. So certainly in my practice over the last few weeks, we've seen a dramatic decline in new cases of suspected COVID-19. So whereas in late March and early April, we were seeing 20 plus cases per day, in the last 2 weeks, we've seen perhaps one suspected case. So really in many parts of London, the rates of new infection have fallen to very low levels, which is a very positive sign. We hope that remains the case in the future, and also other parts of the country which are probably behind London in the outbreak curve see similar declines in the coming few weeks.
We hear a lot about the ongoing persistent symptoms and signs that people have after COVID-19. Have you found that in your practice?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Donald, and definitely we are seeing people with long-term symptoms. So we're seeing people present with problems like chest pain, breathlessness, tiredness, for example, sometimes some neurological problems as well. So we are seeing people with these symptoms, and not just those who are most severely ill who went to ITU, but people, for example, who have been sick at home for a couple of weeks. They are presenting with these ongoing problems like breathlessness and lethargy and chest pain. So these symptoms do seem very common in some patients.
Tell me how the track and trace is working in your part of the world.
So it's finally started after a very long period of time when it was abandoned. At the moment, I would say it's only working probably half as well as we might expect. So many people aren't being contacted. Obviously, people who are infected who are not being confirmed by test or might have a false negative test who are not being contacted. When people are contacted, sometimes they don't know about their contacts in great detail, and sometimes contacts themselves uncontacted won't go into isolation or quarantine. So it's working, but not as well as I would have hoped. Moving forwards, we do need this system to work well, because we will get local outbreaks around the country, and it's very important those outbreaks are suppressed quickly. Need to be identified and suppressed before they can become larger outbreaks. So I'd hope that we do see a better functioning system in the coming weeks and months.
And for our medical colleagues, obviously testing and indeed antibody testing is important. How has that worked for you and your colleagues?
So in my practice, all our staff have now been offered an antibody test and had an antibody test. In all but one case, that test has been negative, which is in some ways quite a good sign, because it means even though we were exposed to many people, either through professional or personal contact over the last few months who had COVID-19, we didn't seem to have an infection. So that is a positive sign for the practice.
And is everyday medical practice getting back to normal?
So it's moving back towards a more normal mode. It's not back to normal yet. So in my practice, we are now seeing more people face-to-face. So we definitely see an upturn in face-to-face consults, particularly the last 2 or 3 weeks. But there's still problems with secondary care, specialist care. So many clinics are not yet taking new referrals or seeing people normally. They're still doing remote consultations. So I think there's going to be a big backlog of work developing, which needs to be addressed in the coming weeks and months once we do move back towards normal mode of practice.
Today, I've been talking to Professor Azeem Majeed, who's been with us right through this COVID-19 outbreak. It looks like things are getting a little bit closer to normal. Azeem, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Donald.